Hi. Oh my gosh, so sorry. To anybody who was a part of my first live stream. I don't know what happened. That was my first time trying to do a live stream on this channel, The Luci Show. So I know a lot of you guys probably came from the Living with Luci channel, my original channel, but this is the new one. And on this channel, we don't talk about money. I mean, we may talk about money sometimes, but majority of the time there will be no crypto, stocks, and finance. If you want to talk about that or listen to me talk about that, that's more on the Living with Luci channel. Hi, John. Thank you for showing up. Sorry, guys, that was a little mini detour we took. But today we are going to be talking about relationships. So friendship, family, and I put lover, but that's like romance. Hi, Dream Paradise. Oh my gosh, I recognize you guys from my other channel. I have like no mods on this one. Hopefully everyone's really respectful, so I don't need to put on mods, but if I see some shady stuff, then I'll turn the people that I already know into moderators. Like always, none of my live streams I think I really prepare for. We're just going to go at it. But thank you guys for so many of you popping on. You obviously did leave a calendar date for my live stream. But either way, we're going to get into it. If you guys want to pop in and bring in something that you want to talk about, that would be fantastic. But I'm just going to start off on relationships in general and why I think that this is something that I'm really passionate about. And well, actually, let's start off with this channel. You guys know that the Living with Luci channel, that was my original channel to kind of like express myself, make content. And then it kind of just like, I was making food videos, mukbangs, like DIYs. I was making all these videos on my first channel, The Living with Luci. But then when I started to talk about stocks and crypto, I realized like that's what majority of the people wanted to see. So I felt like I automatically started to make more content that I got the most views for. But I constantly want to talk about other things. And I just feel like it's better off that I just create another channel where I can just kind of talk about anything else but stocks and crypto with you guys. And then I had a vote on my main channel, Living with Luci, if you guys wanted to talk about existentialism or relationships, which are two things that I'm like passionate about. Just growing up, I've always just had like ridiculous amounts of conversations with people, like anybody, strangers I would meet, friends of friends, mutual friends, close friends, family, pretty much anybody that's ever had a chat with me, they'll probably know that I go deep into like talking about relationships, really stuff that I think sometimes keep private to themselves, but I just like to go all out. I like to share my experiences and kind of connect with other people and also talk about existentialism stuff, but not with everybody because not everybody likes to talk about life and death. But in terms of relationships, I feel like that's something that you can connect with on a deep level with like really anybody from any culture, any background, anywhere in the world. So yeah, I wanted to bring that up and chat with you guys and see what you guys have to share. Hi, Dawn. All right, Dawn, I'm definitely making you my mod. Oh, I already did. Perfect. Dawn, welcome to the first live stream of the Luci Show. Yes, this is the first. The one that I did earlier was a total fail. Please smash the like button and subscribe with the notification bell. Yes, really appreciate it. As you guys know, this is a free show because I'm not getting paid by YouTube. I'm not monetized on this channel until I get like 1,000 subscribers. So I'll work my way there. I think I have about like 800 right now. And you don't get monetized until you have like 4,000 hours. So I'll work my way there. But either way, this is, like I said, something that I just enjoy doing. I think like in terms of like making money versus doing things that you're just like passionate about, this is definitely stuff that I'm passionate about in terms of helping people and making people feel more connected, not alone. And it's also because I met so many people in my life that were either very alone at a certain point in their lives or felt that they wanted to talk to somebody about relationships and had no close friends or people that they could trust to talk about it with. So whoever wants to share their relationship advices or things that they've gone through, just feel free. But I got a ton of stories. So I'll share them with you guys and you can let me know what you think. Would this subject fall in the line with the channel Picture and Lame Online Dating with filters and people using old pics? That's my WTF of the year. Got your pictures. Okay, so you kind of want to talk about, yeah, we could talk about relationships in terms of like Okay, sure. You started things off for me, got your. I like that one. That's something that I constantly do talk about with people. As I do talk to friends about like what profile pictures they want to put on their dating profiles because I don't know about you guys, but I would say almost all, not all exactly in my lifetime, but majority of my serious relationships were all through online dating. So I'm big on the online dating thing. And people always talk about that. Like, should you filter your pictures? Yes or no? What kind of pictures you should put on there? What kind of description you should place? So yeah, we could definitely talk about that. Pictures are lame online. I think. Okay, here's the thing. I know some guys and gals who are like they think really hard into their dating profile pictures, and I think that is because we do live in a society where it's like pictures are everything, right? Like I have to think hard into my thumbnail picture for YouTube, even though it's like talking about finance. I'm not out there to date, but you still have to care about thumbnails and pictures because it's like that's people's first impression of you, and it matters. So I think people like these days might look a little bit too hard into their dating profile pictures. But I would say to most guys that I talk to, I'm always like, that's just my personal preference, but definitely maybe stay away from your first picture being like a shirtless picture. No matter how great you think your body is, because I think a lot of the times girls would just get like the wrong impression, and people would just get the wrong impression thinking like, oh, okay, well, you're here for something else. Like you're not here for like a serious relationship or anything. And these guys may actually be looking for a serious relationship. But usually if you put that as your first original picture out of like, even if you put 10 other pictures with your clothing on, but if the first picture is like you at a club with your shirt off, then I think a lot of the times you will naturally give out the wrong impression. And then I think this goes for girls too, vice versa. If you're just like partying at a club. Oh, thank you, Swagmaster. Yes, please smash that like button. So I think that's kind of like my sort of advice that I've been giving to friends in terms of like guys and girls, but I don't think most people would do that, make that kind of mistake anyways, if they are looking for a serious relationship. But then by all means, like if you're not looking for a serious relationship, nobody says that those dating apps are all for serious relationships. No matter what, you have to be honest. That's like my main advice for everybody. Be honest of what you're looking for. That's first off. I have definitely in my time and through my sad experiences met people who said that they were there for serious relationships and clearly were not. They had like the wrong intention, but some people are just like that in the world. You can't really stop it. That's for me and you like all of us to figure out on our own like who to trust. Sadly, it's kind of like an Among Us game, even when you're on a dating app, but it is what it is. Thank you, Don. Thank you for the stream. I need this. Thank you, Jim Roar. But okay, more on the dating apps. I definitely think it's important to be honest if you are going to be on a dating app in terms of the description. I don't think you have to put out every single detail of your life and like your deepest, darkest secrets because it's all public. But definitely, I would put things that matter. And like maybe if you've gone on dates and it has been an issue, like maybe something about you that you've noticed, like if you go on dates with other people and it doesn't work out, maybe just put that like full frontal like out there on your description. Because I've actually had a conversation with this guy that told me that he never included his height on these dating apps, but every time he would show up to a date, he'd realize like even if his dates wouldn't say anything about it, he knew that it was eventually heights. And actually, the height issue, or he said that it's based on some girls actually did tell him, I think in the end, like, oh, you're just not like above 6 feet or something like that. And there are girls out there, it is a real thing, that just look for guys who are like 6 feet tall. I don't know, like 6.2, like 6'2". And if you're not, then they automatically reject you. So then my friend told me like, okay, you have to just be honest. And he started to put his actual height like on the dating profile. So I feel like if you just feel like you're continuously striking out on the same thing, then you might as well just kind of include it in your description before having to just like go on dates and then feeling rejected in the end, like over and over again. But I don't think you have to. And if you end up meeting people who are just gonna like kind of reject you based off of your looks, then I mean, it just kind of shows what kind of person they are more than what kind of person you are. Along the line, being honest, using filters to do touch-up pics is not honest to me. Got your. So I'm definitely guilty for that. I think almost all of my pictures on my personal Instagram are like nearly all filtered. Like, and if we're gonna go into it though, Gotyer, I feel like in terms of like fake pictures, girls can really get away with a lot, period, because society deems it's okay for us to like put on makeup and stuff. So to me, it's like I could put on makeup and that's already like increasing my looks by a long shot, but then I get filters on top of that. So definitely, I would say it is a little unfair in the playing field. I feel like girls can just really not look like themselves at all and nobody judges you because, oh, it's makeup. But then on top of that, we could also put filters. But I have seen that a lot of men, I've seen makeup on men on dating profiles along with filters. Maybe not as much as I've seen the ladies do it, so that's for sure. But for Gotyor, I think for you, if you want somebody who's just like a very natural looking, you don't want to see filters, it's not too hard to detect. I feel like when people have filtered their pictures, I know because I do it all the time, they're going to have flawless skin, first off. Flawless skin, probably very sculptured faces, and you just know it looks very unrealistic. And I think if you're looking for real pictures, you could probably look for pictures where like that person on the dating profile is with their friends as well, because low chance, I mean, they could just Photoshop the picture together, but they're not going to work that hard on their friends' faces. So I feel like if their face is like perfect and then their friends' faces are like a little bit off, distorted, or just maybe looks natural, then you probably know that maybe there's a difference, or they just took a picture beside somebody who looks very different from them. I don't know. But if that's what you're looking for, I don't think it's too hard to just look for pictures that show some flaws, and then also angles. I think in terms of you, also keep in mind that angles hide away a lot of flaws. Like personally, for me, I'll tell you a secret. I always take pictures from like a good angles. So you don't know my height from YouTube because I don't ever show my legs. I don't stand up or whatever. But to be honest, like all the girls that you see on Instagram, even if they're not photoshopping their pictures, there are so many things that we can do. And this is boys and girls, anybody. You could do so many things from like just getting a really good angle, like a low angle shot, for example, that'll make your legs look really long. Like all the girls I know, we all do it. We take a picture from a very low angle and it'll make you look like 3 inches taller than you actually are. And then also the way we angle our bodies, it'll make you either look skinnier or like 1,000 times better than the reality. So I don't know if that fits your category, Gotyor, but that's also another thing. Thank you, XXX. Women use filters and makeup to compete with other women. Joshua Reeser. I'm not going to agree with that one. I think some women out there, because that's 50% of the population. I think half of the world, there are people out there who would do that just to compete with others. And whether it's for the dating field or for jobs or whatever, yes, you could call it a competition. But then other times I think people do just put on makeup just to feel better. I know I personally, like, I'm just too insecure to do live streams and YouTube and all of that without makeup on. And I think I've gotten to the point where I put on makeup every day now, just because I do YouTube every day. I do live streams and videos, that when I go out, I just feel like it's normal now that I go out with like my eyelashes are fake, obviously, and like do my eyebrows, do like foundation and everything. I think it's just, I've come to the point where like, I just feel normal to do this, even though, yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think I'm competing with anybody. I feel like I just do it because I don't feel as comfortable wearing no makeup. So I think for everybody, it's different. But yes, I will admit there is definitely a competition there. And also for people to just feel better. And there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. Are you in a relationship now, Lucy? Scola. And yes, and to all the people who asked me questions on my Instagram, I know a lot of people were, I posted like, oh, for my second channel, The Luci Show, this channel, please subscribe, ring that notification bell, and smash that like button. But I remember when I posted my live stream that's going to happen in the future, I was like, oh, you guys can ask me questions, anything. I didn't mean like relationships, but tons of people ask me questions on relationships. But if you missed it, because I said it many times on my first channel, Living with Lucy, I am taken in a serious relationship. So yes, that's a yes. Glad you put makeup for me. San Goku. Yeah, I guess you could say it is for you guys as well because you're watching it, but it's more of me. I feel like if I was just like super confident and I felt like I had perfect skin, good enough eyebrows, long enough eyelashes, then I probably just not put on makeup. So I think it's more of like for me overall. Who knows? Maybe one day I will gain that confidence or just not care. Hey, Raymond, another one. Oh my God. Mr. Armour, we are talking about profile picture slash online slash dating slash makeup. Well, we just got to like online dating profile picture because brought it up, and I just want to put my 2 cents into it. But either way, I feel like picture wise, I personally, when I like did online dating, like I used Tinder, Bumble, like everything you can imagine under the sun. I literally had like 10 dating apps before I found my SO. But the thing is, I feel like pictures can only tell you so much. I definitely need to communicate with the person. Like I do face reading, so I think pictures maybe mean more to me than other people. Like I'll look at somebody and be like, do I think this person's a nice person? Obviously, I'm not right all the time. But I feel like generally I can tell if that person is going to be a good fit for me in terms of like, not like, are they good looking, but more so like, do they look like they have kind eyes or do they look like they have a kind face? But that's all on the surface. I have been wrong where I've like accepted dates, gone on a date with these people, and it did not come to like as close as like what I thought in mind. Like I thought, oh, this person would be really shy sometimes, and then sometimes I'd be off, and they would be very, very confident. I'm looking for a blind date, easy items. I've done the blind date thing. Oh my goodness, I have a story about blind dates. I won't say no to it, but I think I did one by myself by accident. It didn't work out. I think like in terms of looks, I think everyone has their own standard. Everybody sees beauty in a different way. And at the end of the day, I feel like you do have to just be attracted, right? Like if you're not attracted to the person, it is really, really hard to actually have like a good relationship that's long lasting. So I do have a story about a blind date where I did go on a blind date by myself by accident. I don't know why I said by myself. Of course, it's with me. But there was this, I think there was an app I downloaded at one point. It was like eHarmony. And then on eHarmony, you guys know me, I'm like super frugal. So I'm like, I'm not willing to pay for like these online dating sites. So they asked that for you to pay before you can see pictures of people. So I had like these matches. And then I was like, okay, screw it. I'm just gonna YOLO one and then do a blind date because I didn't want to pay and then see who the person I was talking to, what they looked like. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go on this date. And I did. Yeah, it didn't work out. I think that was like probably more than like, yes, sometimes you can go on a blind date and I think it'll work out. Like just the stars align and you're lucky. But 75% of the time, it is important to see like the person, because if you're just not going to be attracted romantically, then it wouldn't really work out. So I was like 75% of me, it just did not work for me. So that didn't work out well. Catfish. No, that's not a catfish because they, I think, might have known what I looked like depending on how much they paid for the app, but I didn't pay for anything. I was using it for free. So I couldn't see what the other person looked like. So it was really just like, it was a blind date for me, but it wasn't for the other person. Actually, I think that would have been more fun if it was a true blind date where both the people didn't know each other. I don't know. Do you guys do that? Your boyfriend is not jealous that you show up here? Okay, so my significant other, Scola, knows about my YouTube channel, all of it, but the first one, Living with Luci, and this one, The Luci Show. And what is there to be jealous about? Talking about relationships. I think they would be mad if I said I'm here to date and I'm here as a bachelorette or something, but no, they know about my videos. Your boyfriend investing in Dogecoin. No, low roller scratcher. You guys know I took away my Doge pillow for this. Okay, no money talk. Actually, you know what? We do have to talk about money, but not about crypto or finances. One thing that I wanted to kind of make sure I get out there for this video is a lesson I learned when I was really young. At one point, I kind of forgot about the lesson and got burned really badly. So for anybody that needs to hear it, in terms of money and relationships, period, okay? Money and relationships, period. You do not want to mix money with friendships, ever. Learned this lesson a long, long time ago through my family. I had family members who, let's just say, in the goodness of their heart or through trust, lended out a lot of money to friends. And then I just end up never seeing those friends of theirs ever again. And needless to say, I was taught growing up not to ever mix money with friends. And in terms of family, also, I mean, my family never taught me this. They weren't like, don't ever mix money with family, but this is just something I naturally learned. I think this is through also watching a lot of like billionaires talk about how they engage with money and family, because obviously if you're a billionaire or even a multimillionaire, you're going to have a lot of family members come to you, maybe asking you for money. I mean, I wouldn't be thick skinned enough to do that to any of my family members, but asking you for money if you have a lot, and that would definitely raise a lot of issues. And I think this is from, who did I learn this from? It was from somebody from Shark Tank. Oh my God, I'm forgetting his name right now. There's someone from Shark Tank that's really famous. He said that he does give out money to people, to his family members when they ask. But when he gives the money, he makes sure he lets them know that this is not a borrowed payment. Like, you're not borrowing $10,000 from me. Even if they ask to borrow $10,000, he would just be like, I'm giving you this $10,000. Like that's it. And then if you don't pay me back, that's fine, but don't you dare ask me another time. So I think that, well, he's really rich. So obviously this person can afford to, a billionaire can afford to give away $10,000 to a family member or something. But I go so intense to the point where for me, it's like, I probably would not lend out money to even family members, and depending on what it is that they want, right? Like if they want it for something absolutely ridiculous, like, oh yes, I'm not, first off, you guys know I've lost my $1 million position, so I'm not even a millionaire anymore. But even if one day I did become like a multi-millionaire or anything like that, I don't see myself, and I don't recommend any one of you in the future to give out money to your family in terms of like for ridiculous things. If they're just like, oh, you're rich, so buy me a Porsche, buy me a sports car, or give me some money so I can blow it up in Vegas. No, that's definitely not a good idea. And in terms of borrowing, once you start giving out money to any of these relationships, right? Your friendships, your family, your romantic other, your partner, your SO, whatever you want to call it, I feel like that's when you kind of create an issue of this trust, because you're usually lending. Usually people say, I'm going to borrow as like, I'm going to pay you back, right? So you're lending it out because of this trust, because of your relationship. But if they don't really care about your relationship as much as you thought that they did, then they could easily just take your money and never pay it back. And then therefore, not only do you lose your money, which I think is a less sad part, more importantly, you lose that relationship. You lose the friendship, you lose the family, or you lose your significant other. And I think that that's just not worth it. So no matter what, I always have stuck with this rule, and not saying I haven't made a mistake. I have, and I paid for it. So definitely do not lend out money if you can to people who are not in need. Unless of course, if people are in need and they deserve it. For example, if you had a really close friend, family member in the hospital needs money, and you're in the position to be able to help out, as in like, just do it like charity and then not ask for anything back, then I would do it. But if it's something like you expect them to pay you back, I probably wouldn't lend it out in the first place, because you just need to know that sometimes people just don't have the capability of paying back after they borrow from you, whether they mean it or not. I'll be your pool boy when you're a millionaire again. Joshua, I don't plan on having a pool for my future home, even if I do buy a house. So I'm good on the pool boy. And honestly, I would like to keep like my inner circle, anybody who comes to my home, like very private. So I don't even feel comfortable hiring like a pool boy or like a maid or anything. I know people do, rich people do always hire maids all the time. I feel like that's just like too much personal information laid out to a stranger. Give you an example. I had a family member that was an Uber driver. He needed to fix his car, or he was out of business. I paid to fix his car. That's very sweet of you. So first off, that's a family member. And the question is, did he ask and say, can you lend me this money and I'll for sure pay you back? Did he ask, or did you just do it because obviously it's a family member and you love them? That's a very big difference. And I think if you just did it out of the goodness of your own heart, then I don't think you're expecting anything back. But I'm pretty sure if it's a family member that's really close to you, if it's within their capability, they would probably pay you back or do something else. Sometimes people don't need to pay you back in exactly cash, especially if it wasn't really like an agreement between you two, I think. Like, oh, you have to pay me back in this amount by this time. People can always pay you back in other ways through favors. He asked to borrow the money. I said, no, loan. I will give you the money, but last time. See, that's what I said. That's what kind of like what the millionaire, oh my God, how am I, Kevin? Is it Kevin? What's his name? What's the guy's? Kevin O'Leary. Oh my God. I can't believe I forgot his name for a second there. So that's what Kevin O'Leary did. He says that when people ask to borrow money, even his family, and I'm talking like, I don't think he meant his mom and dad. I think he meant like distant family members. He would help them out, but then he would say like, that's also the last time and you don't need to pay me back. So whatever works for you at the end of the day. Have you ever had experience with like narcissistic guys in relationships? Alex, that's funny. No, actually, because I don't know what it is. I don't get into serious relationship with narcissistic people. I think that's why it's never really happened to me. I've never allowed myself to get into a serious relationship with somebody that I deem questionable in terms of like characteristics. So, I mean, doesn't mean I didn't make mistakes. Oh, trust me, I've been tricked in relationships, but they were short ones, short lived. So I wouldn't even call it a relationship. I would say that I've had my fair share of being catfished or tricked through online dating by bad guys, and luckily none of them were more like narcissistic. I mean, maybe some of them were narcissistic, they just hit it really well, but definitely if I realized they were just like huge narcissists, that's like a huge turn off for me. So it wouldn't have lasted long anyways, maybe maximum half a date and it would have been over. But I definitely think that people are very good at concealing things. So there are probably a lot of chances that we've gone on dates with people who are just like it was all just an act for them. Narcissism is so popular these days, Daniel says. I used to be that way with bipolar disorder. He's an angel investor. Kevin O'Leary. Bitcoin has, oh my God, easy items. Don't be out here talking about Bitcoin. That's for my other channel. Any of you guys that came from the Living with Luci, Living with Luci channel, my main channel on YouTube, y'all can save your Bitcoin and your Dogecoin chat for later. Okay, this one we're gonna talk about anything relationships. So feel free to share or ask for advice on anything. But anyways, yeah, that's one thing that I did want to kind of touch up upon with money. Just make sure you try your best not to mix it. I haven't done so, luckily, with any friendships, and that's why I think I'm able to keep friendships more than a decade long, some going longer than that. And yeah, not that I haven't had a chance to. I've definitely had close friends offer to lend me money because, like I said, there was a point in my life where I worked 3 jobs, working really hard, barely making much. And my close friends who are better off would be like, oh, well, I want to do this with you, or I want to go on a nice trip somewhere. I could just lend you the money and then later on you can pay me back. But that was like an automatic 100% no for me because I value my friendships and I know worst case scenario, like if I'm not capable of paying it back, because you can't really calculate what will happen in life. And I mean, if I borrow the money and then eventually, what if something were to happen to people that's close to me and then I'll have to save up money to, I don't know, pay for hospital bills or something like that. And then my friends' money that I owe would then be kind of pushed back. That would be a big issue for me to deal with. And I think that's too traumatizing. And so I always say no to that. And it's really, really worked out for me, I think, in keeping friendships. Alex, oh my God, that's smart. It's honestly crazy. What, Alex? Alex, what's smart? Are you talking about the fact that you shouldn't mix money with any relationships? Trust me, I've done it. Did not work out well. I did in a romantic relationship mix in money at one point. For one of them, it worked out fine. I was lucky that the person I was with was respectful enough that even after we broke up, the money that I lent out to them to help them with their financial situation was paid back to me in full. And I truly respect the person for doing that, because obviously after you break up, it's like, peace out. Some people just don't pay you back. I've heard of stories like that. So definitely do not recommend doing. But I also had one situation, and that person and I do not talk anymore, clearly. One of us ran away. So I did lend, not lend, wrong word. I did give money to this certain individual in my life at one point that I was seeing, and I trusted them. I trusted that I would be able to get this money back that was mine. And I did not. That person walked off the face of the earth. I know I can find them if I really wanted to, but at this point, I've really just, and I don't know if unfortunately that has ever happened to any of you guys, but yes, it has happened to me. It was a large sum of money that was given to someone that I trusted at the time. Oh my God, that is so shady. I like say, yeah, it is. But I believe in karma. I've told you guys from my other channel. And I do think that through karma, that person will get their own. And I don't really need to do anything. And at one point, I held so much anger that I thought that if I were to see them on the street, like, oh, we would get into a mess. But at this point, I feel like even if I were to pass that person on the street, I just feel like no feelings and I've dropped it, let it go. And I see that as just a really poor investment on my end. Kind of going against what I told you guys, what I knew my whole life, which is just don't mix money with any of these categories. So I made a mistake on doing that. You can't really blame someone else. Oh, I mean, yeah, I should blame them. And I know that they know they did me wrong. But at the end of the day, it's a lesson. It's an expensive lesson. But I learned once again to stick with what I already knew, which is don't mix money with people. Sometimes people don't know how to deal with money, and more the money there is, the harder it is to deal. And I feel like that's how you get into problems. Sometimes you think that people will choose you over money, and it's not true. I'm not saying everybody is a horrible person and you shouldn't trust anybody out there, especially someone, let's say, if you're married to for like 10 years or something, but definitely try your best not to have those situations so things like that don't happen to you. Sorry, I need to read all your comments. Mary thanks for joining. And guys, all of you joining my live stream on the random Sunday talking about relationships, I really appreciate it. Starting off my new channel with a bang. If you haven't already, please smash that like button. I really, really appreciate it. Also consider subscribing and ringing that notification bell for future live streams about other topics. Will you share your money after you get married? Who's to say I'm not married already? But yes, okay. After I get married, will I be sharing my money? Yes and no, because my perfect relationship in my mind, and it's not just in my mind because I actually plan on executing it. If the other person's not okay, then too bad. I see it as whatever my partner makes versus what I make, that's all our own money. And if we want to do stuff like as in spend it on our own families, we use our own. Of course, that doesn't mean we can't use money together, because once you're living together, it's kind of like you have to mix everything anyways. You're going to buy food to eat together, grocery shop. If you have a baby together, obviously you have to share expenses. So I think for sure, I would like to keep my money separate. But on the grander scale of things, like when you're hanging out all the time, I think it's nice to like take turns. Like I'll pay for some things here and there, and then my partner will pay for things here and there. I don't really see a point in having like a massive joint account. I think it's okay to have a joint account for some things, but definitely no need to kind of like throw all your, but that's just my personal preference. I definitely don't see myself throwing all of my money that I've ever earned in my life plus future money into one giant account with my partner. That's not really my ideal relationship and finances. I love how you guys always wrap things around with money. What do you think of long distance relationships, Jasmine? Not for me, but it's worked out for some of my friends. Shakespeare said, neither a borrower nor a lender be. It's never a good idea. Yes, agreed. Eunice, hi. Hi, Lucy. How are you, girl? I'm so excited for this live session. Oh, Dan, hi. It depends on level of trust, I think. But my friend's circle is small, so I can trust them. Okay, that's cool, Dan. But once again, like I said, if not needed, right? Like if it's not needed, definitely, it doesn't matter how close your friendships are, I think. If it's not needed, why kind of test people with money when you don't need to, right? That's kind of like how I see it. It's like my friendships work out fine, just having nothing to do with money, nothing to do with business. It's all just based off of like history and care for each other, like genuine care. I keep my finances private and find people who like me for me, Joshua. Thank God. I drive a Toyota Corolla and don't flash or brag about money. Love it. I mean, to each his own. I feel like people who worked really hard their entire lives and have a Lambo and want to drive around and be like, I earned this. I'm all for it. But definitely they have to be extra careful, right? Like if you're driving a Lambo around a street and all of a sudden you get out of your car and a girl hits on you or whatever, or a boy hits on you, vice versa. Yeah, I feel like in that sense, you have to question more than if you're driving a Toyota Corolla on the side of a street, getting out of your car than just being hit on by somebody. Unis, we talked about online dating profile. Yeah, we talked about it a lot. Oh, thank you, Don. Yes, please get this channel to 1K subscribers. Please, guys, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Really means a lot. Also, smash that like button if you're enjoying this chat. I need a girl who knows how to cook because I'm a major. Wait, what does that mean, easy items? You're a major what? You like to eat a lot? I think that's goals, though. I think having a significant other that cooks for you, definitely fantastic. My significant other doesn't cook at all for me, but I think that just made me a better cook overall. PF Sense. I spent over $65,000 on a Thai girl in the duration of 5 years, married her, and now she wants to walk away from our marriage. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. But I mean, in terms of that, I feel like 65,000. Okay, so you mean like you spent more than $65,000 throughout your marriage, right? And I'm guessing you probably feel like you've spent a lot more than the other person. That comes out to be like my other point. To anybody who's not already married, or you're looking for a relationship, and in terms of like, again, we're talking about money over here. I definitely think like I'm not one of those people that's like, okay, if you have $1 million, $1 million status, you definitely have to find somebody with a lot of money as well. And then anybody who's with you but they don't have much money is definitely using you for your money. But please keep in mind that there are tons of people out there that are just searching for somebody with money. And I know it's disgusting, it's sick, but I have seen it over and over and over again, where there are just more, maybe because just from what I've seen, there's definitely a lot of girls who will just fish out for guys with a ton of money that could just take care of them. They could be trophy wives for the rest of their lives. And that's on the better end of things. I've also seen there are just women who will use you, bleed you dry, take away all your money. And I'm saying women, but I know this happens, I'm sure, for men to other women too. Actually, no, I know a perfect story. I'll tell you guys about that one. But there are people out there like sharks waiting to bleed you dry of all your hard-earned money. And it sucks because some people are just that good at acting that you will not know until it finally hits you. Not saying to the person who just mentioned their marriage that that's what happened to you, but just in a general sense, definitely, guys, be careful of, guys and gals, be careful of your finances that you worked so hard for that it doesn't get stolen from you or just kind of taken away from you from these people who are just in it for the dough. Prenup is a great one in terms of like if you get that far in terms of marriage. I think naturally, if you had, let's say, $5 million worth of like assets and then the other person has less than $10,000 in their bank account, I think you would be crazy. Like, let's not even talk romance. I think you would be insane, absolutely insane to not do a prenup. And yes, you can argue that the other person might be offended to think, oh, then you must just be after me. Like, you must think that I'm just after you for your money. Like, game over, I'm leaving. Like, you obviously don't think that I love you that much if you're going to put a prenup on me. Like, I think some people avoid it because they're like, oh, I'm going to get into a fight with the person that I'm with because they're going to think that I'm being disrespectful. There's nothing disrespectful about wanting to protect something that you worked your butt off for years, and this person's coming into your life with nothing. And we all need to know that worst case scenario, yeah, they could just leave you and take away half your money. So why put yourself in that position? I'm always for prenup, especially if there's a huge discrepancy in terms of finances. I do know people, by the way, who have gotten into relationships with their significant others that had a huge discrepancy, kind of like what I just talked about, like 5 mil versus like 20, 30K max in the account. And there was a prenup done. There was no, the person that I know that got into a relationship like that, they weren't mad. at the other person saying, I want to do this prenup. Because if you truly love somebody, then why would you fight about the fact that they want a prenup and protect their own finances? There is nothing wrong with that. But like I said, that's on the luckier end of scale. Sometimes people will just bleed you dry without even having to get married with you. They could just have like 10 people on the side. Like I have seen people like this. There are girls out there with like 3 other men on the side, just like buying them stuff, bleeding these poor men dry. Using their money, spending their money with no intention, zero intention on being with any of these people. Sadly, that is true. So you guys are going to have to watch out for that. And I mean, what can I teach you? You just got to be extra careful for like what seems sketchy and like their actions. Like, what are they doing? Could they possibly be with other people behind your back? And now we have social media. It's just, I feel like it's so much easier now to catch these things, like these little like nuances. Like it's easier to if there are some troubling things. For example, if this person has zero social media at all, that's maybe one mini red flag. I mean, I have some friends who have just gotten off of social media. That's a total different story. I have some friends who are just like, oh God, I'm sick of seeing like all these political stuff like on my Instagram. So I have some friends who just got rid of like Instagram, period. And some people who are sick of Facebook, just felt like they wanted more privacy. That's a different story. But sometimes there are people who will not share with you their personal, private, let's say Snapchat account, Instagram account, or Facebook when they actually have all of those accounts. Because they are seeing too many people and they don't want you to kind of find out like what's happening. So that's also something you have to delve into yourself. And I wouldn't really trust somebody, I think, until I've met their like inner closer circle and then see how they are on like a regular basis. So if everybody's like, oh yeah, this guy's never had Facebook for like 10 years, and like, oh, this guy's never had Instagram like for 3 to 4 years, I know it's super weird. And then you kind of see their friends' social medias and you can see it's kind of true. If they're never really tagged in anything, then you could kind of maybe buy into what they're saying. But if it's somebody that like you clearly know likes to show off things on social media, and all of a sudden you meet this new person and they're like, oh, I don't use it anymore, that's also a kind of a red flag. Thank you for the stream. No problem. All dating apps are sketchy, Henry says now. They all want crypto and they all need money before meeting them through Cash App for gas. Oh my God, Henry, that's horrible. So yes, once again, if somebody, oh my God, you know what? Actually, my friend was telling me about this, that on a lot of dating profiles now, you have a lot of fake ones. So again, like I was talking to somebody else earlier here, you can kind of tell when the pictures are just ridiculous, right? Like they just look like they're models, or like they're pictures clearly stolen from like actors or actresses. Definitely stay away from those people. Any of those pictures that just look like too flawless and impossible and looks like it was just like stolen from somebody's profile. So yeah. And I think it's really easy to tell from those people too. I actually taught my friend this. When you are talking to somebody online that seems too good to be true in terms of looks, and you think they're catfishing you, whether it be they're after your money or your crypto or whatever, very simple, guys. We have FaceTime now, okay? We've got the technology to at least kind of cross these people out and prove them to be liars before you even have to meet them. So if you're talking to somebody who you think is overly attractive, oh, they're probably got their picture stolen offline, FaceTime them. Do a video chat before you meet up, okay? For the love of God. Do not buy them a ticket to see you and pay for their hotel stay or whatever you were planning to do before they've actually proven themselves to be who they said they are. I would, yes, 100%. If you know that that's like for sure legit, like you have their Instagram account, you have their Facebook, but even then they can make up like a fake Instagram, fake Facebook. So if you're worried like somebody's catfishing you or just after your money, at least do a video chat. You can prove that picture, that profile picture is actually them by just a simple video chat. I don't know anybody that would say no to it unless they were lying to you in the first place. And then also, I think that hits the other factor we're talking about with Got Your. You were worried like people were photoshopping, like doing a little too much filter. To be honest, I feel like some girls, I'm defending girls I know, they do filters, but they do not need to do filters, okay? It does them no justice. Some girls look amazing just without filters anyways. Guys too. And just because they have a filter on doesn't mean they don't look anything. I mean, maybe they look nothing like their filters, but maybe they look even better to you in person than they do on their filter. So if you're a little bit worried about like their looks, you could just ask. to do a video chat. And then you can't really, I mean, I think there are filters for certain video chats, but just make sure you go on the video chat without filters. All the actors can get a date because everybody thinks they're BS. I'm not sharing my private stuffs to my girlfriend if I got one because I know I could be killed. What? Easy items? What do you mean you could be killed? Like you have too much private information? All right, be safe. Jimbo, my friend deleted all his social medias. Can't find anything about him. We don't know what happened to him. He went hiding, I think. Oh no. I need filter. Hello. I did a FaceTime once, Henry says, and they used a video and the voice didn't sync and said she's had a bad connection. Wow. Oh my God. That's like me with my potato camera. Bad connection. Yeah, then I would be like, go somewhere with a better internet connection and FaceTime me again. Guys, it's so easy. And then there's also people, this is like through experience and from friends I know that people will be like, oh, I don't have time to do a call. Or I don't have time, like they only have time to text you for some reason, or on these social media like dating apps or on dating apps, but they never have time to call. Huge red flag. If they don't have time to call during regular hours, I'm talking like 7 p.m. during dinner time, whenever you're off of work, depending on what work you know they have, huge red flag. Because people can be married and leading totally different, like just the two-faced lives, right? Married and then not pick up your calls. Why? Because they're having dinner with their wives, or maybe cheating on you with like 10 other girls, and then just not picking up your call. And yeah, I know from experience. So I have, sadly, on Tinder, guys. On Tinder, at one point in my life, I did meet somebody that I liked and fell for because they were a fantastic liar. And that was one of the things that they did. They were married. I did not know because they lied to me and said that they were single and so busy with work, but they would never do FaceTime with me or be able to call during regular hours, like I said, at like 7 p.m. And obviously after I realized, I didn't actually realize that they were married when I let go of them. I just kind of realized like there's too much sketchiness, red flag after red flag. And then I cut them off on my own without knowing that they were actually married. I figured just like maybe a couple girlfriends. Gee, wow. But no, this little psycho had a wife. So in terms of crazy things that people can do, yeah, I have my fair share. So from that, I learned sketchy hours calling you at like 2 a.m., 1 a.m., but then never during regular hours at like 7 p.m. when people are having dinner and they can't pick up your call during regular hours. Huge, huge red flag. She said she looked like Janet Jackson, but when we met, she looked more like Freddie Jackson, DJ Lord Buck. Okay, but guys, in terms of like, okay, dating profiles and girls, maybe, okay, if you guys missed it, I talked about how like angles really help people. Okay, like I can do a really nice angle and then do a picture and it'll make me look like 15 pounds skinnier than I actually am. So it'll just come to a point, like everybody wants to look their best first impression on their dating profiles. So yes, you may come across people who look amazing on their profile pictures, even if they didn't Photoshop their pictures. They just took it from a good angle. But when you meet them in person, yes, they may look a little bit bigger, a little bit wider, a little bit different than they do on their pictures. But do I think that means you should automatically cut them off, though? No, I feel like, okay, I think it's important that attraction has to be honest and real. If you are honestly not attracted to the person, and no matter how good their personality is, you still can't bring yourself to be like physically, romantically attracted, then definitely don't lie to yourselves because that will not end well. I've at one point been with somebody like close to me. I have been in a relationship with someone who basically catfished me, I would say. He basically catfished me because the pictures were nothing like what he looked like. And when we met in person, I was like, oh my God. I was literally like screaming in my head, like, WTF, this person just totally catfished me. Who does this? But then I gave them a shot. I still went through dinner, chatted with them, enjoy the chat, and realized like the same person that I'm talking to when I was on the dating app, thinking that they looked like that, is the same person. So yes, they kind of lied about the picture, but their personality is the same. And then I ended up being with that person for a long time. But the reason why I say, because I overlooked it, right? Like their looks, I told you I met them in person, and basically I did not feel like that was somebody I would have naturally swiped right on, quote unquote, or went for. But then because of their personality, I gave them a shot, and then I found them attractive, like more for their personality. But I think at the end of the day, when it came down to breaking up, I think the look part definitely added onto it. We had other issues too. It's not like they had the perfect personality and then I just pieced out in the end because of looks. That's not it. We had other issues, but I think the look part definitely played into the other issues as well. We were both very stubborn people and fought all the time. So I think that's like probably the main reason we broke up. But then also the looks part. So that's why I say to you guys, I think looks does matter in terms of like you having to find that person attractive and therefore being honest with yourself. Like, do I actually like them for them, including their looks? But it's not everything, because I think I had a great relationship and it is actually possible to be with somebody that you may not have right off the bat been like, oh my God, I'm so attracted to. Like, this is the most perfect person that could have been for me in terms of looks, and then you haven't even said 3 words to them. I feel like it doesn't need to be like that in order to work out for like a perfect relationship, but you need to be at least somewhat attracted. Otherwise you're just lying to yourself. And I mean, that's somebody that if you do end up being married and if you are into having kids, you're gonna have to have kids with this person. So definitely I think attraction needs to be there. What app did you meet your SO on? Razga, LOL. So I just told you that I had like one of the worst experiences on Tinder, but I actually had one of the best experiences on Tinder because I met my current significant other on Tinder. So that's why whoever says Tinder is just for hookups, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, I get all of these people telling me this all the time. People who are just on like Coffee Meets Bagel or like Hinge or whatever. We don't use Tinder because Tinder is just all for hookups. And there's so many liars on there, people that are scamming you and like bots and fake pictures. I'm like, okay, I had a great experience on there, but that's just me. So I'm really glad Mary says, I'm really glad I've been married for 33 years after hearing all these stories. I'd be happy for you too, that you've been married for that long. It's work, I bet. Like, it's not easy. People always say like relationships are super easy, but I think relationship is work for sure. And it's naturally easy if the person and you just like belong together. But no matter what, after time, when like the whole fairy tale, like all that butterfly stuff, like floats away, it does come down to like actually making it work. Because I think that for like 2 different human beings to like mesh well together and accept each other for all their flaws, that is hard. Because I know personally, like I have a lot of flaws that if I wasn't me and I was dating me, I'd be like, I don't want to deal with you. Barbarella, what? I have nothing against Mormons. What? Henry's like talking about Mormons, but they are now using pretty. Oh my God. Oh, because girls have that worry you just spoke of, I tell women to just Google my name. I own businesses. All my info's out there. Gotcha. Well, luckily you have businesses. I think a lot of men out there or gals don't have the luxury to be like, just check my business out. But that's awesome. That's good of you. Nice and honest. And just kind of laying it out there. Be like, this is my business, like it or not. And also I think it's great for advertising. I know there's a lot of people on dating apps these days that are like literally gaining more and more Instagram followers because you can connect your Instagram account, I think, or like your businesses. Well, clearly if it's like a business Instagram account, you can kind of advertise while you're going through the dating phase on Tinder or like Coffee Meets Bagels or whatever. Eunice Kim, I'm a single day trader working at home and it's hard to meet new people. I dread using online dating apps, worried about running into sociopaths like that. Eunice Kim, oh my. I do get it. It probably, you do. I'm sure you find it hard because you hear stories like what I just told you guys. There's definitely sociopath, I think, just among us. That's just something that'll never change. It's been around for millions of years. There are just people who I think the issue here mainly is not about sociopaths versus like regular normal people that are not non-sociopathic or psychopaths. It's more about like sympathy. I think there are just a lot of people out there who doesn't have any sympathy. And they just care. It's more selfishness too. They just only care about themselves. So it's kind of like they'll do to you what they don't want to be done to them. Right? We all know that cheating is wrong. We all know that you should be honest. And we all know there are certain things that's just kind of crossing the line of like being a human being. But no, there are disgusting people out there like that who will cross the line because they feel no guilt, they feel no remorse, and they'll go to sleep at night knowing really well that they're lying to your face. So that's why I think it is very important to do little things here and there. I think it's easy eventually. I mean, you can only fake things for so long, and eventually you could test people out. You could test people out for what they really are. And if you guys need tips, I'll try to teach you a few. But if you're worried about like people scamming you in terms of money, I think it is easy to tell, especially for example, if I was a multimillionaire, which I'm not, going out on a date with a guy. If I go on a date with them and then eventually, let's say we're together for like a couple of months, you can easily test them out just by the way that they're allowing you to spend your money, right? So I could, for example, be like, hey, I just made a lot of money off of this trade. Let me take you out, or let me buy you a car, actually. You know what? I've actually tried this on a relationship that I had. Not that I was ever a multimillionaire, but I just had some money that I saved up at the time. So I was like, your car sucks, to the guy that I was with. I'm like, let me buy you a new one. Like, let me use my money that I worked for. Let me get you a new car. And his car was running fine. So it was kind of a test on my end. I just wanted to see how they're willing to spend my money. And if they didn't pass the test, then that's right there, not marriage material for me. They passed the test. We did not end up together, but they passed the test. They were like, why do I need you to get me another car, or get me another car when this car is running fine? The whole point of having a car is, like I always say, get you from one point to another. And they're like, the car works fine. I don't need one. And they never asked me to be like, oh, I don't need a car, but maybe get me a Rolex watch. So I feel like that's a good test for people. If you are worried, you can't do this in the beginning. I feel like it's too easy. You kind of have to like be with the person for a while and then know that, you know, like they know you and that you are willing to do something like this for them, and then see and test them out and find out really what they're willing to accept. Because for me, if you're willing to accept large gifts in the beginning, especially you're not even married, right? If you're willing to accept large gifts, have the other person spend a heck of a lot of money on you, definitely also red flag. And I would also just question this person's capabilities and controlling finances. Like, okay, you are willing for me to, let's say I only have $50,000 in my bank account, and you're willing to have me spend $40,000 on a car for you as a gift, and we're not married or anything. Yeah, that's a red flag, guys. If you don't know what a red flag looks like, that's a red flag. Interesting. That's a good test. I'll keep that in mind. Yes, Eunice Kim. And for sure, I mean, some of you guys, I think you want to be honest, and you want to kind of like have dating apps and have it show your businesses. And then if you're a day trader, I know some of you might include that you're a day trader if you're a crypto trader. I would definitely not. If I was early investor of Bitcoin, I don't think I would put that on my dip profile. You're like asking for a $5 ranch attack. So I think for some of you, do your thing, you know, like if you want to share your businesses and like the fact that you're a CEO of a certain company, do it by all means. And some of you can't help it because you're already famous or something. But if you can help it, I would say probably not disclose that. Like, it's too late for me because I share all my finances with you guys on Living with Luci. But I'm lucky that I found my significant other way before I got into Doge and made any money at all. So I don't have to worry about that, luckily. But I think for people who you don't have a YouTube account, you're not like trying to do anything on social media, nobody really knows how much you have in your bank account, I probably wouldn't disclose that until like the very end, you know, after you've like thoroughly tested the person. I would actually just pretend I'm poor like all the time, and then make sure that they have no idea like how much money I actually have. Like, take them on like not horrible dates, but definitely not expensive places. So definitely, Unis Kim, that one's for you. Yeah, you have to test people sometime. Gotcha says, I was out with a girlfriend looking at Prada bags. She was like, I really want this bag. I said, what would you rather do? Take $3,000 on shopping spree or get the bag? All right, gotcha. What did she do in the end? Oh my god, this is funny because I actually know a story like this and it did not end well for the girl. Pretty much somebody close to me was with someone that within like 3 months of them dating, I swear to God, I don't know how people have the audacity to do this, but within 3 months of them dating, yeah, same thing. The girl was pretty much like, get me this bag, but it was like maybe like more than $3,000. I don't think it was even Prada, but it was like a high end brand for like, I don't know, more than $3,000. 3,000 ranging to like 5K. And then the guy was like, no, I'm not buying you this. And the girl was like, oh, but all my other like exes all got me that. Like this is nothing. So then the guy obviously, and oh no, she threatened. She was like, if you don't get me this, then we're breaking up. And the guy's like, cool, out then. And that was the end of that relationship. So definitely, guys, if anybody or girls, anyone tries to test you on that, be like, buy me this or get out, like we're done, then let them leave. My question to a girl, do you have Dogecoins? If she said yes, then she passed the test. Okay, easy item. So that's not bad. It's not like you're asking them if they have a whole bunch of money or whatever. It's asking them their preferences on their investments. That's cool. On Friday, Lucy says we won't talk finances or crypto. Okay. Okay, fine. We're not talking finances or crypto. We're talking about relationships. But when we talk about relationships, I think it's hard not to kind of like delve into money because you want to make sure you find the best partner. And like, thanks, Eunice Kim. You want to make sure that you guys find the best partner because one thing that I think people often forget is sure, you can kind of create an empire for yourself, but if you are legally on paper like married to somebody without a prenup, they are entitled to like half of your finances. Look at Jeff Bezos and his wife. So I think the key, I mean, for those people, I think it doesn't even matter, right? Like if you're like just multi-billionaire, literally the richest man in the world, you can afford to like slice that in half and then give the other half to your very deserving wife because I think they started Amazon together. But for other people, right? Like you're just like meet somebody out of nowhere, out of the blue, that are clearly just after you for money. You're with them for like married to them, maybe like half a year, 3 months, and they're like, peace, take out half your money. Yeah, this is like you're setting yourself up for a huge, huge lawsuit. And just a lot of pain that you don't have to deal with. So I think in that sense, it's definitely really important for us to know how to take care of our finances, but also how to make sure we protect ourselves from others that have bad intentions. Now, back onto good relationships. Another thing I wanted to share with you guys, this is not going to be the only channel episode, by the way, on relationships because relationships can take forever to talk about. So we'll definitely do more. My second one will probably not be on relationships. I probably want to talk about existentialism. So if you want to be a part of my future videos and not miss out on live streams on that other live stream I'll do in the future, I will schedule them. So make sure you are subscribed and ring that notification bell. But for anybody like that just came on my chat today, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Really appreciate it. I'm not getting paid for this video at all. I'm not monetized on this channel. So really just doing you guys some charity work. But anyways, one thing that I definitely will have to share with you guys, or else I feel like I didn't do anything for you at all, is for those of you that are in relationships. Can we get a cha-ching? No, I don't even think you can send super chats on this because I'm not monetized. But later on, help subscribe and ring that notification bell so eventually I could also monetize this account. Charity work can be tiring. LOL, Cracker. No, I actually really enjoy this because I feel like even if one person can walk away from my live stream or having watched this video, because I'm going to put it on a playlist later, and it could save you from, a heartache or being used, making the wrong decisions that like deep down is wrong, but you're kind of like, oh, I don't have really any experiences or know anybody that this has happened to. I would love to help anybody out, even through my pain, right? I've told you guys, sadly, been tricked in terms of people out there that have bad intentions or were just planning to trick me from the very beginning. after money, all of that. It's disgusting, it's horrible, but it's out there. And we definitely need to not build a wall so that you never share, your deepest, darkest secrets with someone that you love, but definitely have a barrier to protect yourself so you don't get hurt. But also know you can also pick yourself up. I mean, I think I've done pretty well, even through the heartbreaks and the traumatizing events that I've gone through. You'll always pick yourself up in the end, because I think in the end, you know that you'll only have yourself. And if you know how much love you can give somebody and you are deserving of it, it doesn't really matter to me how many times I've been hurt or how badly someone treats me. I will never do the same to somebody else, because I know there's a saying like, once you've somebody might have been hurt, maybe like if, let's say, for example, if a guy were to cheat on a girl, then the girl will feel the need to do that to multiple people afterwards, and then the cycle the vengeance continues, right? I think that's horrible, but sadly it does happen. I've seen it. I personally have been cheated on, but I am very proud to say, I think more proud than many things, other things in my life, more than my finances, to say that I've never done that to anybody else that I've been with. Like, no cheating for me. That's just a level that I'm never willing to cross. It's just like wrong to the core for me. That's like, I will do anything probably but that. I will probably rob a bank before I do that. No worries. Only you can make yourself happy. You will never find it in another place. Exactly, CJ. And also remember that even though people can hurt you and, maybe they'll make you cry for a couple of months, maybe they'll make you sad about something for a year, but eventually you will pick yourself up. And guys, karma is a real beach. So it will get them. So for any of you guys that have also been hurt in relationships, whether it's been you were cheated on, had stuff taken away from you, whether it be money or, I don't know, a part of your soul. Just kidding. They can't take that. But no matter what they take from you, they will never take away like who you are as a human being. And then whatever they've done to you, just remember that only says a lot about them and not about you. And you'll always make it out. I know I've made it out. For example, the story I told you guys about the, let's call it thieving. The person who chose my money over me and pieced out, that person definitely missed out on, if anything, more attendees, because I'm no longer a millionaire now, but definitely you guys all know those are from the Living with Luci show that I actually at one point became a millionaire sometime this year, right? Like in April, May. So if they stuck around and if they were smarter, they could have taken a lot more from me had they stuck it out. So I'm glad that I kind of got rid of the trash, and I don't have anybody like that around me anymore. So I think that's the silver lining. It's like you can meet bad people and they can try to take away what they think you have at the moment. But if you're good, you're just going to get more and more. They're just going to end up losing more. Because I think that in terms of karma, they will for sure get hit. Either have the same thing that they did to me happen to them, or worse. This is why we hodl. Luci, a lot of kids at the hospital do really envy you, so I am going to show them this video. Gregory, show them this video and be like, there's nothing to envy. She's had some really horrible things happen to her. Yeah, no, I do agree with that. Like, I'm definitely one of those people that, like, I don't feel the need to put people on blast and like say their names and where to find them just to kind of be like, this is my revenge. For me, I think I don't need to get revenge. I think life will just kind of take its own turn. And I've seen it enough times in the past to know that if you do somebody wrong, and this is speaking from experience, I've done people wrong in the past too, and it definitely comes biting back at you. So I feel like when I do these videos, it's more so to connect with you guys and for you guys to know that you're not alone on bad relationships, whether it be with friends, family, or love. We didn't get to so many other parts, but don't worry. There will be more episodes. But one thing I'm going to leave you guys with is something I learned for people who are in relationships. And maybe after, the initial kind of passion, all of that kind of wears off, right? In the beginning, everything's all passionate. And it's a lot of lust too. I think in the beginning of a relationship, it's just new, right? A lot of lust, a lot of passion, and that eventually does die down. I've seen some people who are just like on each other, like they haven't been together for 10 years, which is really shocking. But those are more rare. So I feel like in terms of relationship, you have to understand that eventually it will kind of die down and not be like it was on the first week or the first month. So one thing that I actually think I read on a random magazine when I was like 10 years old, it kind of stuck with me forever, and it's really helped me out through all of my relationships, whether they lasted or they didn't. But it really helped me, and I want to share that with you guys, is never ever forget why you decided to get into a relationship with that person in the first place. So whether you are married or whether you've been in a relationship with somebody for 3 months or 3 years, and you might have gotten into a really big fight, or maybe recently because it's such a new relationship, they're kind of getting on your nerves, or you're realizing some pet peeves. Definitely always remember back to the first moment when you guys were first together and when you first decided to go into a serious relationship with this person, and why you did it. Like, what caught your eye about this person? Has it changed? Is it no longer the same? Are they like a different person now? Did they fake out that entire like person that they pretended to be in the beginning when you fell for them? If that's the case, and they are the reasons why you fell for this person, for example, if in the beginning they're really good to their family, they're really good to their friends, they're just like a really polite person, goes out to dinner with you and treats the servers like human beings, all of a sudden that's changed. And let's say 3 months later, they now are yelling at their parents, swearing at them, rude to friends, maybe backstabs their friends. I don't know why I did this like stabbing thing, but backstabs their friends. And then when you go out to eat with this person, all of a sudden they're like, I don't know, not tipping and yelling at the servers for getting like one dish or something. They've just turned into like this complete monster of a person that you never liked in the first place. And they fully created that act just to get you to like them in the beginning. Then I would say definitely peace out. But if they are the same person that you fell for, and all the reasons that you decided to go into a relationship with this person from the very beginning is still the same, and then now you're just kind of maybe seeing some pet peeves, maybe you're like, oh my God, this person, I'm trying to come up with with something wrong with someone. Maybe this person has, I don't know, this like random issue, and they're super OCD or whatever. I don't know. Maybe you didn't know they were OCD. All of a sudden they were OCD. Or maybe they have this really weird fetish and they have to turn on and off the lights like 3 times before going to bed. I don't know. Just something really weird. But and then you're questioning, should I break up with them or should I leave this person? Definitely, I think, go back to your original thought, like when you first decided to be with this person. And if everything still sticks, then if you're meant to be with them or not. That's definitely helped me a lot, because I think just naturally being with somebody, sometimes you could get into like a lot of conflicts because you don't know, like in the first 3 months, there may not be any issues in both your lives in the first 3 months. And then it's like, oh my God, this problem pops up with friends. And then this problem pops up with family. And it gets really hard for you guys to deal with things. But in the end, I think it's important to kind of weigh things out and remember why you were with this person in the first place. And if they are the same person and you still love them for that, then stick with them. And it definitely helps, I think, refresh relationships in a sense, just remembering how you felt in the very beginning. Guys, Alex A is like, guys, does anyone want to date? Miley, I've had those relationships. They don't come with warning labels. No, I think relationships definitely do not come with warning labels as much as we'd hope. And that's why it takes time to like seriously get to know someone and see if they're a good fit for you, because we naturally, and I'm guilty of this too, naturally, if I were to just meet somebody on a date, I'm not like burping. Okay. I'm not like burping, doing gross things, being the gross human being that I am. All those things, it's kind of like you save for later after you're already like comfortable with them. And you've both kind of like stopped with this like barrier that you put up and this shield. So I think in the beginning, human beings are naturally just like, we're just there to kind of like we want to show off to each other in a sense, and you want to attract the other person. Because I think the goal here, whether you know it or not, like subconsciously, when you're on a date, it's almost like you're trying to impress somebody, you're getting them to like you. End goal. Like, it doesn't even matter. I've been on horrible dates and I naturally just can't help myself. It's like I try to make people like me. I don't end up like doing things just to make them not like me. I don't think I do that, even if I'm like, oh, I don't really see this like happening. But I naturally am just can't help myself. I'm not going to be rude and like fake like how I am. I'm not going to be rude to the waiter just to cause a scene to end the date. So I feel like naturally we all just try to like impress each other. So it gets harder later on when you realize like, oh my God, this person kind of acted maybe extra nice. They're not actually like this all the time. And also I feel like in relationships, it's like people naturally are going to be super good to you in the beginning because they're trying to get you to like them back. But then once they have you, then they show their true colors. Definitely not sus like an interview. We all are on our best behavior for first few months for sure. Yes. And I think after a while, yep, needs 6 months to tell, Dawn says. Sometimes I think 6 months, it depends on how good of an actor or an actress that person is and how many days of the 6 months you even see each other. But I would say some people can act real good for over a year if they really want to. And that's dependent on how many times you see them. You have to keep that in mind because I think I could say I'm in a relationship with somebody for 3 months and then really know them more than somebody who's been in a relationship with someone for like maybe 8 months. If that other 8-month relationship was just like dinner and movies, sees each other once a week, once every 2 weeks, and considers that as like actually getting to know each other and like barely texting, barely talking on the phone at all. If they were doing that for 8 months versus if I were with somebody for 3 months, but we were like living together or like basically living together 3 times a week and going out all the time, texting, messaging, I would definitely say that you, even though the time frame is shorter, like 3 months, you definitely know that person that you're with for 3 months if you did that versus somebody who just goes out for like a meal where you're just like eating and in a movie where you're not even talking for most of your dates. This is why I date local only. So no excuse to hang out on a whim. Yeah, that's good. If you date local, I guess it's kind of hard to say no, and it's easier to catch kind of any shady people who are also dating locally like others. Cooking a homemade meal for somebody works wonders. Yes, Mazanoche. I feel like showing love through cooking meals is definitely a plus for me. Dating probation 30 days. Oh man, I don't even know. I feel like, but then also it's like, I do believe that we do have a sixth sense, like just a little bit, some maybe more than others. And you could just kind of tell, I think, in your gut, like, is this person really bad for me? Do I find this person like kind of shady? And if you do, trust your gut. And then other times it's like, you know, this person's the one. For me, I've never had like, oh my God, this person's the one that I'm going to like be with for the rest of my life on the first date. I don't know. It's just never happened for me. I've had very intensive lust for someone like on the first day. You're just like, oh my God, this person looks really good. But it's not like this is it. But I think everybody's different. There are certain times where I've spoken to couples and they're like, we just knew like day one on the very first day. I was like, wow, that's awesome. Lucy's a detective. Woke. No, I'm not a detective, but I think I do come up with pretty good schemes for friends just to see what's up and figure out if there are any foul play because it's getting very stressful. Facts. It's individuals to the person. Oscar status. Yes, if somebody can lie to you for like a year, they deserve an Oscar. This is why I date only. Henry says, I'm with a girl who constantly gets jealous. We went on a trip and my ex was nearby. Huge fight. Today I accidentally liked a scandalicious girl on TikTok. Is this normal? Okay, Henry, I'm guilty. I am one of those jealous girlfriends who has had issues when I've seen my significant other kind of like a little too much of, I don't know what you mean by Scandy girl, but let's just say really, really gorgeous girls who show a lot of skin on Instagram or on TikTok, whatever. I have been one of those jealous people that I've kind of voiced my opinion because sometimes you see it, like you see what other people like, And that is definitely a turnoff, especially in the beginning of a relationship for me. I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, it's not like they don't like my pics. They do. But then when I see like way too much time kind of spent on that app in a sense, and like liking too much of those pictures, it definitely makes the girl more insecure naturally. And then also just kind of be pissed. So I think I know where the girl is coming from, any girl or anybody out there that's coming from, if they feel kind of like, oh wow, like I don't like you liking all those pictures. But I think like over time I care less now. I mean, after I voiced my little opinion, which I do think is a little drastic, to be honest. That's not like a reason to break up or anything, in my opinion, but I'm very vocal, as you can tell. So obviously when I see something I don't like, I say it. I'm like, you can like it in your mind. You don't have to like it. But you can't stop a guy or a girl, anybody, from looking at pictures and finding somebody else attractive. I think that's just, it comes naturally. And even if you're married or even if you've been in a relationship that's new or it's been a long time, I think it's just natural. Like if you like passing by on the street, if you see somebody really good looking, I don't really blame my significant other if they just like looked. I'll look at them looking and then tell them I saw that. But I think we all just can't help it. But jealousy is definitely one big reason to fight, that's for sure. And seeing exes, though, I think if you accidentally bumped into an ex, that's obviously not your fault. But it depends on like how much you talk to your ex. I think I'm not one for being really close with exes. I've done it, I've tried, and never works out, because whether it be you, your significant other, or then your ex's future significant other, nobody's really happy with that. So I know there's a lot of people out there that it's working for, but I've tried it. It never seems to work out. Somebody in between will always be like, nope, this isn't happening. So I usually just try to keep it chill. Like I'm not angry with any of my exes, I think. Actually, no, some I will always be. But I'm not really, like, I don't really care too much. I just kind of see them as like, okay, the love that was once there will always sort of be there. But I also don't care, whatever happens to your future. Like if you get married, if you don't get married, if you're alone forever, none of my business, because once it's over, it's over. If anything, I just see them as like acquaintances at the end of the day. Detective without a permit. Lucy, how do I meet females? Off the books. LOL. Window shopping. I was like, when I was in my early 20s, Lucy, looking back, I believe it's because that person didn't value me or made me feel loved. So it caused me to be jealous and have low self-esteem. Miley. Yeah. So I think definitely if you feel like that person doesn't make you feel loved all the time, and it comes to a point where you feel like they don't give you any attention, and then you see, okay, they're always spending time looking at pictures of other girls, then yes, there's definitely a huge red flag there. But I can feel you in that sense. I think low self-esteem is a huge factor in not having a healthy relationship, period. Like even if it's like the right guy or girl, but your self-esteem level isn't at its best, I think you cannot meet like your best partner. So it's definitely good, I think, to get, and like also like a happy state too, like to get to your best self before you meet that other person, or when you're with that other person, also kind of lift each other up to get to your best level. Miley, oh, thank you. When the time is right, he'll walk into your life and love you dearly. I hope the right man does take good care of you forever. Miley, I think that I found a really good partner right now, significant other. So I'm not waiting for anybody else to walk into my life. However, with that being said, I am prepared for anything. I feel like nothing is forever, and we're definitely being naive if we think everything's just perfect fairy tale for life. So I am prepared for the worst. Like I said, I've already been cheated on. So I think worst case scenario, it happens again, and I'll just keep moving on and being strong. Um, but I'm happy with the relationship that I'm in now, and I want it to be forever, of course. I think we all go into relationships and people go into marriages too, just in hopes of having like something that lasts long and then being happy forever. But I also keep in mind that even when it's not anymore, the most important thing is to be honest with yourself and leave if you must. Because I've seen people being stuck in these horrible relationships. And you know why they're there? They're there because they will not admit to themselves that, yes, I've made a mistake and this was a bad investment. And one of the things that I stick on my wall actually is, hold on, do not become attached to a bad investment. And that goes for not only my first channel with anything with finances and stuff, it's also for relationships. Relationships can sometimes be a bad investment, and sometimes we feel attached to it. I think like you feel like you owe it to your years of life, whether you've been with that person for 3 years, 7 years, 10 years, and you feel like you owe it to your old self, that you stick out in this relationship because you made that investment. And if you leave it, then it's kind of like you're admitting you were wrong in the beginning. Trust me, people actually think like this. And it's so sick and wrong because it doesn't matter if you once had a really good time and now it's bad. And you're still sticking it out because you don't want to admit to yourself that you made the wrong choice, because it's okay to admit that we make mistakes. Like we all make mistakes. And how would you know? Why would you be the one to blame if you originally went into it with good intent? I think that's the most important thing. You go into a relationship with good intention, whether you get married or you're in like a 6-month long relationship or a 3-year long relationship, you were in there for good intent. And then now, whether the other person's intentions have changed or they are no longer the same person that you fell for, or you just don't feel the love anymore, then you have to let go, because otherwise you are just definitely torturing yourself. Nobody is perfect. I made mistakes. Woke, that's fine. I think everybody makes mistakes, but it doesn't mean you have to repeat your mistakes. Nice financial tie-in with the motto. And Raymond's like, exactly. You're smart for seeing that. I think that's been said like a lot of times in terms of like, don't be attached emotionally to a bad investment. That's mostly with like finance, but it works really well in anything in life. Just like any relationships, period. Like even friends, family, romance, all of that, it works. Because sometimes I feel like you feel like you owe it to either your old self or you owe it to this relationship, but the relationship is not alive. You are. So there's no such thing as like owing it to this amount of time that's been spent, right? Facts, Big Moon. Whoever cheated on Luci, total loser. Big Moon. Thank you. I think so too. But that's fine. What's done is done. I don't actually carry like hatred towards the people that did cheat on me. I actually thank them because I think in the end, it brought me to like a better version of me, and it brought me to more experiences, because a lot of the times I feel like sometimes and that's the thing, attached to a bad investment. I've been one of those people that I've been in a relationship and at some points question myself, like, should I still stay in it? And then I'm like, well, I'm really invested in this. Like, I shouldn't get out. Like, why would I be giving up on it? And sometimes you do want to make things work. And I think I have fallen victim to kind of want to make something that I knew deep down wasn't going to work because of the amount of time that I've already spent in it, like my years. So if anything, sometimes when somebody else does you wrong, it could turn out to be a beautiful thing because it kind of lets you out, right? Because I tell everybody that I'm with, if you do hurt me and cheat on me, that's pretty much the end. Like, it's not something like, saying something you didn't mean to one of my friends that I won't break up with you for. Like, diss my friends one time, I won't break up with you for. Apologize. But if it's something like cheating, then yeah, I don't deal with that. So in terms of that, I feel like I definitely felt relieved moving on afterwards and then finding someone else that was more fit for me. One like away from Elon's number. The ego, your confidence and opinion on your own self-worth is physical and actually responsible for your thoughts and brain decisions making process. Crazy, huh? Psychological facts. Thanks, Raymond. So sounds like you're saying that that you might be breaking up with Doge. No, I would never. Let's go 69. Yes, guys, please Smash that like button one more time. Get me to 69. I will be piecing out though. I do have to go out for tonight, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it back for our usual live stream on the Living with Luci channel. I'll try my best though. Don't hate me if I don't make it on tonight, because yeah, I'm going out. But if I can, I will. Otherwise, you'll see me tomorrow night on the Living with Luci channel. Okay, back to our regular schedule programming. This one, make sure you are subscribed and ring that notification bell, and share with your friends and family. Anybody who wants to talk about anything in the future. We'll talk about anything but money. Well, we'll kind of bring in money half the time. So please share this video and make sure you are subscribed so you know when I do another live stream. Probably won't be until like at least next week or something. But take care. Thank you. And as always, do only good every day. Bye.